I want to talk about gratitude, and not the Hallmark version, not the kind of gratitude that you see on Instagram, not the grab a journal and write 3 things that you're thankful for type of gratitude. I want to talk about like the kind that actually changes your biochemistry. Did you know that when you actually focus on the things that you are thankful for, you will rewire your brain? And if you grew up, with a lot of stress, or if you have a lot of stress right now, if you experienced some severe trauma growing up, maybe you were sexually abused, emotionally abused, you were just in an environment where you constantly had to be on edge, where you always had to keep your guard up, you always had to stay focused because the next threat was right around the corner. I can guarantee it that you are wired for survival. And your body is literally addicted to the chemicals that your brain releases when you're stressed, like cortisol. But if you can focus on gratitude, the things, like the little things that actually give you that sense of euphoria, the kind that will warm your chest, make you smile and actually feel it. Yeah, so I know this is not easy to do, and it's something that it takes a lot of practice. And a lot of you might be thinking that I'm talking out of my butthole right now, but I want to share a quote that I heard with you the other day, and something in me finally clicked when I heard it. If you do not learn the language of gratitude, you will never be on speaking terms with happiness. And that one clicked for me, because the words that we use, the language that we have, whether they're spoken words or just our own self-talk, our inner dialogue, we have to catch that shit. We have to be really careful with your inner dialogue. You have to be careful with your outer dialogue, because the language that you use is super important. And if you don't learn the language of gratitude, you'll never be able to understand. You'll never hear happiness. You'll never hear true happiness, because happiness is speaking an entirely different language. So what language are you speaking? And I'm reminded of a Bible verse that I was going through Bible study with my girlfriend the other night. It came up. It's the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 18. And I think there's a hair on my phone. What was that? I think it was Paul, maybe. I'm not a biblical guy, so don't quote me on this, but I think Paul wrote a letter to the Thessalonians. In verse 18, chapter 5, he says, "Be thankful in all things." All things. He didn't say just be grateful for the happy moments. He didn't say just be happy and thankful for the moments that are good. He said be thankful, be grateful in all things. Now, this is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, because how can you be thankful for the bad shit? How can you experience gratitude when you were abused? When you have gone through a narcissistic relationship, or got hit by a car and your legs are broken, you can't walk anymore? How can you be grateful for that? How can you be grateful for all the bad shit? Now, if you are a biblical person or not, if you're just a spiritual person, then you know that God, the universe, life itself, there's this divine intelligence that is running everything. And that source, I'm just going to use God because it's a simple term, but God itself did not abandon you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here anymore. You are still here. There's a purpose for you. And so what is that purpose? What is the reason? What is this experience trying to teach you? Or what did this experience teach you? A lot of the guys that I work through one-on-one, they have gone through some of the most horrendous things that you can think of. Like being raped as a little boy by your mother's boyfriend. Absolutely horrendous. Or just never being good enough, like always being berated by your mother. No matter what you did was never good enough. Or just being abused, or just never being told I love you, or just never being told I'm proud of you. That's bad, hard shit. And when you're little, like when you're young, that is something that fucks with your psyche. Like, what is wrong with me? Why is God putting me through this? Is there even a God? Like, if there was a God, why would he let me go through all this hard shit? And so, I just want to challenge you a little bit. You know, if you have dealt with trauma, if you have been hiding your trauma, if you've been shaming yourself because you feel like you're responsible in some way, like you made choices back then that put you in those situations, so you're holding guilt over your own head. I want to challenge you a little bit, especially if you have been holding on to this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Now is the time for you to get challenged. You found this video for a reason. YouTube's algorithm put it in front of you for a reason. And I'm going to get right up in your face and I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to say, you know what? Not anymore. You do not get to be the victim anymore. I'm sorry that you went through that stuff. I'm so fucking sorry that you went through that. And it hurts my heart that someone somewhere experienced that amount of pain. But why are you still here? You woke up today. There's still breath in your lungs. There's still sound behind your voice. Look around you, man. What is God trying to show you? What else could this mean? And just ask yourself those questions. I'm not saying don't minimize the experience. I'm saying the experience happened. And it's okay that it happened. It's sad that it happened. It sucks that it happened. It was so fucking wrong for it to have happened. But it did. And you're still here. Why? What did that experience show you? No, it didn't show you, no, I can't trust anybody. It didn't show you, I better not give my love to anybody. It didn't show you, you know what, I need to safeguard myself. I need to always be on high alert. I always need to stay guarded and protected, because if I open up even just a little bit, the world is going to hurt me. Someone is going to hurt me. No, that's not what it showed you. Because I can guarantee you that mask that you're wearing now to stay safe isn't not working anymore, is it? Your family sees that there's some type of disconnect going on in your life. And they can see the pain behind your eyes. And so I'm not saying minimize that experience. I'm saying it sucked, it happened, but how did it make you stronger? How did it grow you? What lesson did it teach you? Where did it show you in your life now, looking back, that it made you who you are? How can you use that to your advantage? What strength did it give you? What purpose did it plant in you? What seeds of inspiration and happiness and joy did it plant? Because it did. It planted those seeds. And in Paul's letter to the Thessalonians, be thankful in all things. If you break it down even further, I think the Hebrew, the original way that it was written, it says you don't need to be thankful for all things, but be thankful in all things. What is there to be thankful for in that moment? You survived. You weren't abandoned. It taught you something. What did it teach you? How can you use that to better yourself, to better others, to better the world? Because I can guarantee it, God puts his toughest soldiers through the biggest challenges, through the toughest battles. He gives his toughest warriors the biggest scars. And if you're still here watching this video with me 9 minutes in, that's you. You are one of God's toughest warriors. Life has a bigger purpose for you. Life has a bigger plan for you. And if you continue to focus on the wrong side of things, you're never going to see it. You're going to continue to live in pain. Your family is going to continue to live in pain. They are going to constantly be walking on eggshells around you because they know that there's something wrong. There's something eating away inside of you. And I just urge you, I challenge you to face those demons, to stop running from those demons, and to just take a moment to allow yourself to grieve, to release some of that shame and that guilt. And once you do, you can start to feel grateful. Grateful in that moment. Grateful in that experience. Not for that experience, but in that experience. So take some time, and I challenge you again. I'm gonna continue to drill this in as hard as I can. What did it teach you? What lesson did it teach you? And you see what I'm doing here too. How this works. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning of the video, but when you start to focus on being grateful for the warmth of the sun, being grateful for the way your son or daughter laughed at the stupid thing that your dog did, or, you know, just something small like the way that their eyelashes curl up, or the funny ways that your wife will kick in her sleep, you know, something small. And if you can continue to stack all those little things, you start to change your biochemistry in your brain. You're starting to release serotonin and oxytocin, especially if you can tie that those small moments of gratitude to a person or to a thing. That's the bonding chemical. Oxytocin is the bonding chemical. So every time you see that person again or that thing again, you're reminded of how good it feels. So I want you to just take my ramblings and see if you can do something with it. If I'm speaking any sense at all. Let me know too down in the comments, man. If you think that there's any value in what I'm saying here, I want you to just let me know. And if you think I'm full of shit, let me know. That's fine too. But you can either focus on all of the bad, or you can focus on all of the good. And there is good there. I guarantee it. You're just not seeing it because you're not speaking the language of happiness and gratitude. And I'm not trying to shame you in that either, because it takes practice. You need to practice learning that language. And if you're somebody who has struggled for decades, you've been speaking a different language. It's okay. But you need to start practicing the new one. And there's something too that happens in your brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. It's like Google for your brain. And so what questions are you plugging into your Google? What questions are you plugging into your brain? Because the RAS is your filter. And your filter is currently trained to see the things that aren't happy. The things that you're not grateful for. And you need to retrain that filter. You know, your brain, your subconscious brain your subconscious mind is pulling in millions and billions, I think trillions even, bits of data all the time, like every second maybe, I don't know. I can't remember the exact number, but your RAS is filtering out just a little bit of that. All because of the language, all because that's what you've been training yourself to see. You cannot learn the language of gratitude. Let me rephrase that. If you do not learn the language of gratitude, you will never be on speaking terms with happiness. And that's what that means. So what language are you going to start speaking? What language are you going to learn? And I can guarantee you guys that if you spend some time working on this, you can make the change. I've seen it happen with my one-on-one clients. I'm seeing it happen currently in our community on school, where guys are coming into this. There's a new guy who just joined. He said he's been practicing stoicism, which is it's a phenomenal practice. But there's a big difference between pretending shit's not bothering you and actually being able to control your reactions to the things that trigger you, to the things that would normally bother you. You know, and he comes in, he says, I've practiced stoicism and it doesn't work. For me anyways. Like, And that's because he's got so much pent up from his past, so much abuse from his childhood, that he was programmed that way. That's the language he was taught. And so every single relationship that he's ever been in has been a complete failure and utter disaster, because it's reminded him he's been triggered from things that he grew up with. And he said in our community on school that just in the last few days, the benefits that he's gotten out of doing the work. The community too, by the way, is called Emotionally Jacked. There's a link in the description down below, and you can check that out. It's designed for big, strong dudes who look like they've got it all together on the outside, but inside they're still breaking. They still have some deep emotional scars, and they're starting to notice it because it's really starting to come out. And that's the way that repressed emotions work, is that if you have had situations, circumstances that were hard, that sucked, that were just fucking horrible, and you never got a chance to express your emotions around that means you push those emotions down. And if you're watching this right now and maybe this thing that you went through was only a few years ago, but it was hard and you know that it hurt, but you wanted to be tough and you had to put up this mask and this facade, that I'm telling you, man, if you don't deal with it now, you're going to be dealing with it in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road. Because there's a book that's about this. The body keeps a score. Your body will always remember these things. And even if you don't feel it right now, it's going to catch up to you when you least expect it. When you don't want it to, it's going to come up. And it's going to throw you for a loop. It's going to fuck with you sideways. So I urge you to deal with it now. And if you are somebody who is experiencing that now, where you notice things from 40, 50 years ago are starting to bubble up, you thought that you had put it away, you thought you have dealt with it, then reach out. Okay, I urge you to reach out. Join the community down below using the link. It's a free community. Come in. There's no sales pitches, nothing going on in there. It's just a place for people to gather. It's a safe place for people who are just like you, going through the exact same thing, and it gives you a safe place, judgment-free, to talk about things. And then there's something like over 30 hours of training modules in there that actually help you rewire your brain to actually dig out some of these repressed emotions and start to deal with them. And if you want to go a step further too, I always do one-on-one coaching. I do have that available. The link is down below, and you can start with a free call. We can just get to know each other a little bit. We can talk about this stuff. We can talk about the things that are really eating away at you. The things that, shouldn't have happened but did. You didn't want to be abused. You didn't want to be cheated on. You didn't want to cheat on someone. You didn't want to get beat when you were little. You didn't want to grow up in a household where you always had to act for love. You had to perform for love. You had to put on this persona of perfection. Nobody wanted to go through that. We all just wanted to be loved for who we were. And so that's the type of work that we do. It's hard to just touch base on it just for a little bit here in the short 20 minutes that we have together, but I just urge you to check that out. I would love to just sit down and chat with you sometime. Now, YouTube's algorithm is going to pop a video up right here. They think that is the next video that you're going to benefit from. There's something in that you probably need to go watch and see. Okay, so check that out next. And as always, man, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Okay.